site that was published by Claire Cousins on Monday, the 19th of August 2002 at 16:30 BST, and the title is Pot Noodle TV Slag Ads Bans Talk. Should it be banned? Pot Noodle's controversial adverts using the line "The slag of all snacks" has been banned from appearing on TV after more than 300 viewers complained. The Independent Television Commission (ITC) at the time before all ad regulations was took over by the ASA have made this outlined stance that the Independent Television Commission ruled today that the word slag was so offensive to women it could not be used on TV even after the watershed. Watchdogs have also told Pot Noodle that adverts in the campaign that do not use the word can be shown, but only after 9 PM. The Tongue-in-Cheek campaign shows men use to more wholesome snacks at home, sneaking off to enjoy an illicit pot noodle. Yeah, but the whole jux of the advert, there was this guy who was at home eating the boring sandwich with his missus. He got so sick and tired of eating bland, boring foods. He wanted something exciting to eat. Then his friends said to him on the phone, "Have you heard of the snack called pot noodle?" Then the husband sets off down this seedy red light district where it's supposed to be a cavalcade of X-rated shops, but instead of selling X-rated porn, they were selling forbidden foods that no other person can eat. However, in every single shop he walked into, he always got turned down or slapped on the face. Then he thought all's but lost, and he turns to this last shop where this blonde lass in dominatrix gear said, "Meet me around the back of 5 minutes." Then the both of them they chow down with some weird foreplay. But the guy said, "Yet it feels so wrong, but it feels so right." Then it comes to a screen where it was the pot noodle in a black ground, and with the neon sign says "Slag of all snacks," but due to complaints they had to change it to "pot noodle, it's dirty and you want it," to avoid any more criticism and complaints due to contrary. And he's continue. A record shows that 310 people contacted the ITC to complain about the use of the word slag, which is also used as a form of roadside paving at building merchants and that. But it could be misconstrued another way. The use of the word slag making it the most complained about campaign of the year. Viewers also object to the sexual innuendo in the ads, particularly at times when a large number of children could see them. The watchdog, who was so concerned about the volume of complaints that in June it restricted the ads to post-watershed TV, pandering a full investigation. HCL and partners, the ad agency behind the campaign, the HCL did other advertisements in this country. Argued that the term slag referred to the product rather than any individual in context. It said the campaign should be acceptable after 9 p.m, which is common standard. But the ITC disagreed. It said it had continued to receive complaints despite the post-watershed restriction that a term capable of causing such offence among viewers was not suitable for transmission at any time. Slag has been judged to be the 16th most offensive word in the English language. In a joint survey conducted jointly by the ITC, the BBC, the British Commission, the Advertising Standards Authority, which took their handling on how advertisements should be conducted in a suitable manner. They go by the ASA. That later did the dealings with any ad campaigns, no matter if it's in the press or on TV, and jointly in half. Five years ago, Lucas had to abandon the campaign featured the Fat Slags words, which is from the satirical adult the comic called Viz. After 309 people complained, the ASA, which regulates all non-broadcast advertising, has also been flooded with complaints about the poster of the ad. It is investigating the complaints and plans to publish a ruling in the next few weeks. But the whole issue about that at the time, it was another series of ads that ended up getting seriously out of control. The second advert features a guy on all fours in this room in front of the dominatrix being teased with the pot noodles snack and the etc etc. However, it also had from the slag of all snacks advertisements had a follow-on advert which features the same couple who was having a meal at a Mexican restaurant, and mariachi singers came up to them and start spilling the beans to the missus about his dirty shenanigans and etc. And it's become a growing concern about the misinterpretation of how the certain words used. And I can't show you any footage of the advertisements due to the fact I don't want to get it flagged on YouTube. And here's another article from the Telegraph, posted on the 19th of August 2002 at 1 minute past 12 a.m. British summertime. Yeah, not that advert off. Yeah, a television advertisement for slag of Arsenats has been banned by the Independent Television Commission for breaking the rules of offensive language. More than 300 viewers complained about advertisements for pot noodle, which called the instant food slag. The slag of Arsenats Commission found the word slag unsuitable for broadcasting at any time in the advert, just like the other one. Is repeating it verbatim. The commercial shows a man touring a red light district, as I explained earlier on. Complaints early in the campaign led to the ITC ruling it not to be shown until after the 9 p.m. watershed, but viewers continue to be upset by the language. Research by broadcasting bodies has found viewers do not want bad language in TV advertisements, and most women will find the word slag offensive. A different slogan has now been adopted. The Commission also upheld complaints about the sexual innuendos before 9 p.m. Yeah, it's common standard in this country, and in so many other countries you're not allowed to show explicit X-rated adult content until after 9 p.m. So it broke the rules of advertisements, and that the pot noodle advertisements was not the only controversial adverts to receive the ban hammer. There was in the early 90s there was a string of advertisements for Tango, a acid tangy fizzy soft drink that features a fat balding guy painted in orange shoes going around a street corner, surprising the general public who drinks him, and slapped him around the ears, then ran off, then wound back, and it had spots like commentary from comedians and spots and pundits analysing the advertisements, like rewriting it and slow mowing it and etc. Then it cuts to an advertisement. It says, you know, when you've been tangled, slapped at the back of the guy's head. But it got way out of hand from there. There was an alternate advert with the guy who was French kissing the guy, then run off. Then that was not enough. There was the following advertisement with a granny at a zoo or whatever, tried to pop the balloon in, but the balloon didn't pop, and she did So it was not a great advertisement. It got weird. Then it was following a double amputee Scotsman painted in orange, looking for his missing legs. And it was not a great um, advertisements in display. But it did eventually come to the end with the last one, with a guy going up, with a guy that is supposed to be standing for Pee Wee Herman, running at a lady who drinks the tango soft drink and shouting oranges in her ears, then running off. Then every advert ends, you know, when you've been tangoed. But the most controversial one out the wall was the ear slap, because the kid went to a doctor's surgery to explain how did this happen. He said he'd been tangoed because he went to school one day and the kids saw their advertisement and decided to reenact the choreography in the advertisements, and that leads to the ire of television bodies, and that put a stop to that, due to the fact it was causing people to go permanently deaf, and etc. The British advertisement has been under scrutiny so many times, it's unbelievable. Continue on with this. A campaign for hula hoops is in which electric eels emerge from traps and toilets prompted complaints from the 133 viewers. Many said that their children had the nightmares or wet the bed. The commission rules it was wrong to screen the advertisements before 7:30 p.m. Yeah, and that was a short article made by The Telegraph. I don't know who wrote this. Did not show the author, unlike the other one. Yeah, and however, there was so many news articles that reported on this. Another site called the Asian Shopper posted this on June 11th, 2018. Pot noodle slag of all snacks. What were they thinking? Pot noodle has a history of controversial adverts in the United Kingdom, cashing on its image as irresistibly bad food for boys. This 2002 TV spot shows a man who is bored of his partner's bland snacks and in dire need of something more dirty. He then goes to a red light district asking women if they do pot noodle. In the final scene, the instant food stuff is labelled the snag of all slats. The advert was banned after a record number of complaints were lodged by offended viewers. Yeah, it seems to me that that it goes to show what happens when they abuse advertisements in order to send a satirical message. Why the writers and performers at Saturday Night Live and Broadway TV gets away with it because they do it in the way of self-parody, and they don't want to disrespect it. But when the advertisements do it, they lose their creativity and they go way too far. In the contrary, yeah, so kind of like if we go to this. Slap add band. Right, some guy on his yeah, click that because that's annoying. The tango ad banned from viral. Thursday, 16th of January 2014. The tango from banned to viral. When it comes to broadcasters marketing, there are strict set of rules. It's enforced by the Advertising Standards Agency, ASA. Way back then it was the ITZ. The adverts must abide by what happens when an advert breaks these rules. Looking back at the ad history of Tango, one of the Britain's most ridiculous and offensive soft drinks, we can see how their risky approach to marketing works and what happens to their ads once they are banned from television. Tango first caused public outrage over an ad in 1992. The advert titled Orange Man, which shows a man getting hit in the face by the taste of orange tango, had to be banned due to the fear of that children were at risk by copying it. It was shot in the style of a football replay. It features a orange man smacking his victim around the face, and it ends with the tag, "You know when you've been tangled." After numerous reports of children being hurt in the playground by copying his antics, might perforate each other's eardrums, it is believed that it's this advert that gave rise to it. Two follow-up adverts were made, almost identical to the first. The orange man kissing the victims in one, and the victim is running away from the other. Do you know when you've been tangled? The ad campaign was the product of Howell Henry Caldecott Louis creative agency known as the HCL, the same company that handled the Slag of Allsnats campaigns. And it goes to show that this company was notoriously bad for breaking the rules of advertising and marketing by showing risky ads in inappropriate times, which can cause offences and injury to others that see the actions of the adverts, and by replicating it in public. And yeah, created from a man screaming oranges in a woman's face to an old lady exploding, they were all bizarre and outlandish. Despite being banned, the original version of the Orange Man was voted the third best television advert in the 2000 poll was conducted by Channel 4 and the Sunday Times. It was also voted the fifth on the ITV's top 20 adverts in 2006, which the original advert claiming 30.0 thousand views through multiples of videos on YouTube, and comments such as, "Did anyone else get a ton of detention for doing this at school?" It's clearly remembered for the impact it had. In 1998, James Corden, at the start of his career, the star of BBC's Gavin Stacey, got his big break in one of the Tango's band adverts. In the advert, Corden is followed by a group of gingerhead men who repeat his every word through orange megaphones. Corden seems traumatized throughout, and is forced to beg viewers and shops to buy more tango. "It is very important for me and my state of mind." The ad was taken off in the air at 2 weeks after complaints it encouraged bullying fat children. There was also several complaints over the distressing nature of the advert. Once again, this advert is the work of HCL Creative Industry, and it gets weirder and weirder and weirder and weirder as it goes along. As you can read, what the whole commotion was with this. It's all pretty damn crazy stuff what advertising agencies do in order to advertise their brands, and that and it was pretty damn strange stuff to unpack here. It continues. After causing complete upset with the Tango adverts, HCL caused further offence in 2005 with their advert for pot noodle titled "The Pot Noodle Horn." The advert, featuring a man getting the horn for pot noodle, escaped censorship after 572 complaints from viewers. These complaints were over the use of blatant sexual references to sell a food product. The ASA rejected those claims, saying that the agency's intention was to convey people's desire for pot noodle in a light-hearted and humorous way, and accepted the pun for referred to sexual arousal. I might not be to every viewer's taste, ASA regulator. This, however, wasn't the first pot noodle advert by HCL to create a stir. The entire campaign was banned after a series of complaints to the Independent Television Commission, the ITC, over the tagline "The Slag of Horse Nuts." The ITC ruled that all versions of the advert featuring the word slag must be withdrawn. The tagline was changed to "It's dirty and you want it," and the adverts were re-aired, but they were only allowed to be shown after the 9 PM watershed due to the red light district theme. HCL was named Creative Agency of the Decade in 2000, but fell upon hard times in the 3 years to follow, and eventually was forced to close down. Tango was on of the agency's biggest client. and their working relationship spanned over a decade. Clem, now Hornby Inge, took over responsibility for its marketing tango, and in 2004 an advert titled Pip Pipes was banned from television by the ASA without hesitation. The ad features a young man wrapped in a carpet filled with oranges, rolling down a hill, crashing into a tree, and being hit by my concrete pipes, exploding the oranges all over him. The hit of the whole fruit, the football style commentary is not too dissimilar to that of you know when you've been tangled adverts in the early 90s. The reason for the ASA's swift action on these adverts were due to the serious nature of one of the complaints. This advert was from a family whose son has died while playing on concrete pipes. There is no sense of consequence as the boy gets up at the end unharmed. Some children may not see the danger in recreating the stunt. Then it continues. Clem now Hornby Inc. CHI had to keep to tango outrageous and risky brand identity, followed in HHCL's footsteps was another of Tango's advert reaching viral fame after this advert was banned. Fanta, Tango soft drinks rival, nearly had an advert banned in 2006. The ad named the Fanta Bambusha features two Pacific Islanders being slapped by their girlfriends for saying the wrong thing. The advert was compared to the Tango's original, and several complaints were received, fearing that it would spark a similar copycat craze in children. These were rejected as the ads followed by the slapstick style familiar to that of the Carry-On films, and was less likely to be copied as the slap comes as a directly result specific situation, not surprise attack. Then it continues from there. There were also a few complaints raised over the issue of domestic violence. The essay concluded that the advert was likely to be seen a light-hearted portrayal of theatrical violence. It was not just Tango's TV complaints that had been offending the general public. A series of posters designed by Boyle Haggerty was dubbed vulgar, undefinable and ridiculous by the essay. After a series of complaints were made, the essay received more than 80 complaints against the poster, stating too much tango made me suck my balls, other claiming it suggested oral sex with a bull, which I find it's totally ridiculous. The ASA rejected these claims saying, despite the possible sexual implications to some, we considered that the advert presented an outlandish and ridiculous scenario opposed to explicit references to bestiality, and any perversity was outweighed by the absurdity of the notion DSA regulation. And it also continues. Two complaints were also made about the too much tango made me shave my and in it as the topic of pubic hair was also appropriate. A similar series of posters was done by illustrator Sergei Seidlitz for Tango latest soft drink Turbo Tango, showing very strong brand identity and sense of humor. The main poster was used in the campaign reads "New Turbo Tango made me foam myself" in bold and the comedic style of writing. And Sergei Seidlitz also said that a series of posters for Tango that were meant to go up in audience cinemas, but due to the sexual implications and the style of typography, the posters were rejected. Clearly, the public aren't ready for hairy, bald typography. Sergei Seidlitz. In 2006, Tango released Tango's Balls advert as a spoof of the famous Sony Brava Balls. Viral Sony's original video features 170,000 brightly colored bouncy balls being released down the streets of San Francisco to the soundtrack of Heartbeats by Jose Gonzalez, filmed in high definition and shot slow motion. Its purpose is to show off that the Brava has color like no other. Creative director of the advert was Richard Flintham from Fallon, who was also the creative behind the Sony's Brava paint and Skoda's Fabia baking off adverts. All these adverts have become huge hits on the internet. The Tango's parody sees various items of fruity of balls bouncing down Cambridge Street in Swansea. Set to be the same music and shot in a very similar style, it shows an avalanche of fruit leaving a trail of destruction as it falls down the hill. A watermelon smashes through a window. Window boxes gets knocked off by falling fruit, and another watermelon explodes on a car windshield. The mass of fruit ends up in the pile at the bottom of the hill, and a woman emerges from it holding the bottle of Tango Clear. The tagline reads "Refreshment like no other." A clever spin on the Sony's tag. It then goes on to say, "You know when you've been tangoed," which Sony has been. The video was unavailable to insert. Check out YouTube. A website claiming to be Swansea North Residents Association voices its outrage over its town destroyed by fruit. On the 17th of February 2006, it rained the fruit in Swansea North, causing so much damage to property for which we have received no compensation. The filming of this TV advert traumatized many small domestic animals and a number of our older residents are now too afraid to leave their homes. With enough complaints, hopefully those responsible will think twice before soiling the streets of Britain with fruit pulp again. This site, along with two others, are owned by Clement Hornby in CHI the creative agency behind the advert as a part of viral marketing. With more and more people now using the internet to watch films, TV shows and videos, companies are having to change the medium they used to advertise in 2007. YouTube introduced its first adverts, its first video adverts, despite the general feeling of annoyance from the YouTube committee. It continues to be the most effective way to advertise. It also so allows for advertising companies to be more creative with their videos, and due to aggregators available, can get away with more than they would under the regulation of ASA. This can certainly be seen in Tango's viral ad for Tango, which can be found on their very own YouTube channel, Tango Films. The video features a man named Gary having an unusual dream to the sound of dubstep. From shaking with a dwarf to a foam bath with two girls with oranges for heads. His dream is both obscure and sexual. The advert filled with innuendos such as Gary getting slapped with a fish in the cubicles and having a fireman spray him with a fire extinguisher. In the last part of the dream, a woman walks towards Gary whilst the voice-over comments, "I know it's your best mate's mum, but it's worth a go." Gary wakes up from the dream and pulls back the duvet to reveal a wet patch, and the video ends up with the tagline, "Turbo Tango made me for myself under the ASA's regulations." This ad would have never made it onto television due to its erotic nature. Viral videos are that become popular through the means of internet sharing. This is unusual though. Through video sharing sites such as YouTube and social networking sites such as Facebook. These viral videos often gain overnight fame, turning the most likely of people into celebrities. Peter Gives, who played the Tango Orange Man, lamented and was overwhelmed by the way his character, the Fat Man, became a pop culture icon amongst video advertising enthusiasts. But the actor decided to retire from acting and open up a distillery with his son, in which it became a overnight success, and to this very day he gets loads of fan feedback because of the Orange Man betrayal and that, which made him an iconic celebrity. However, the viral videos did exist before YouTube and social networks. Funny videos such as the evil penguins were sent around in officers' emails in the early 90s. Then it finished off. In fact, viral behavior can be found through history, right back to some of the earliest forms of society where ideas and news were spread by word of mouth. This is known as meme ticks. A meme is a cultural unit, an idea for or value of a pattern of behavior that passed from one person to another by non-generic means and through imitation. In terms of web, memes are usually the images or videos that through repetition and parodies become popular. Web-based advertising is becoming a lot more effective than television, with millions of people using sites like YouTube and Facebook worldwide. These adverts can now reach more people, and companies are gaining new customers from places that wouldn't have known about them otherwise. For example, a longboard company in New Jersey saw a 40% growth after uploading its first video of the business. From local to national to global. With new technology now available, this is a site now available. Sites can also now start tailoring adverts to suit its interests of the user. This means the user will see less of what they don't want to and more of for what they do. This is done by using cookies to track what the user looks at while on the site. These cookies can also be used to measure the effectiveness of adverts, as it can tell which users were shown an advert who went on to buy the product. Advertising on YouTube will also push creative agencies to be more creative with the advert to stand out against the millions of videos already on there. The style of these adverts is often more bizarre than the seen on TV and television, and tend to follow traits of viral videos rather than abiding to the rules of ASA. Despite having the number of its TV adverts banned, despite having number of its adverts banned, Tango continues to be one of the Britain's best-selling soft drinks. Tango puts this down to its strong marketing campaigns and memorable television adverts. These banned adverts are still remembered by many, even 20 years later. The key purposes of an advert is to create a link to the product and that the customer can remember. So a good measure of an advert is how well it stuck on people's minds. The Orange Man advert gains more recognition through the controversy behind it getting it banned, and because of this is firmly embedded in our memories. In conclusion, making adverts that push the boundaries and rules to be a risky strategy, but often lead to greater publicity if successful. As I was going on explaining about the Tango Orange Man advert, which led to fan prowess appreciation with so many fans out there who did the fan tribute versions of the Tango advert. as a way of the love and appreciation of what went into the adverts. It was and there was also a lot of archive sites like TV Arc and so many other archivic sites that also shows popular culture advertisements. And however, the most popular advertisement that was the first ever advertisement was this cafe. Carefree, scary car, yep. Right, you're gonna have to knock it off. With this Carefree commercial that was also shown on Tarrant on TV, it starts off with a car driving down the countryside. In the actual advert, it starts off with the car running down a countryside to a discount version of James Horner's Titanic tune. Then it goes all quiet, then it pans around and before you know it, yeah, I've got goosebumps, sorry about that. Yeah. Then it starts off with a guy in zombified makeup that jumps up in front, and so you never been so awake. This is the German version. So washed durch noch nie. You've never been so awake. And it goes to the throbbing kind of cafe in Hohendosen. Yeah, this was the first ever ad viral video to be, I should say, the first viral ad to be put on TV. And it's been widely reacted to by so many content creators. Yours truly, and but if this was shown on TV, this advert would be met with the same scrutiny, and it would be pulled from TV or to be reshown after the 9 PM watershed due to its shocking nature. And if we go back a bit there, then it goes like that, and jump scare. Yeah, this jump scare was mainly popularized in a video game called Five Nights at Freddy's, which contained so many jump scare elements and etc, etc. And also in the game Destiny 2, there's moments of a drag or something that jumps that's right in front of you as a way of jump scare tactic. and it was like that in the first Destiny game. Yeah, this is to explain without restrictions and regulations that certain advertisements can get away with being risky and get away with it. And if I go to Tango Orange Man, Tango adverts from 1997, 1991 to 1997. Excuse me, that. Yeah, I've got a live message. Yeah, to say my subscription has been suspended. Yeah, sorry about that. It starts off with a bunch of 90s lads hanging around the corner shop as they do, having a leisurely talk. One of them's about to take a sip out of their fizzy drinks can and pause and rewind like they do on the VHS tapes. It's way back in the 1980s to 1990s. Here comes the orange man, Peter Gives, goes up to him, runs around the group, flailing his hands, and stands next to the guy, and ready for it, and slap. And then the guy is shocked. Then looks into the distance, and it replays. And the guy is about to do the same actions. Is running around like a escape from the Benny Hill show, and running around and tap the guy on his shoulders and slap, and with the same reaction. And they realize it was all a fake out, and the guy resumes his interaction with the rest of the group, and there you go. You know when you've been tangled. Yeah, those are divine examples on how popularity in advertisements go. I had to mute the sound for both adverts due to the fact it may come with background music, and that may be copyrighted for various reasons. Yeah, and that was my deep dive into the realms of how the pot noodle TV adverts became notorious, and its brief history on how the Tango adverts and the Kefi adverts gained such popularity in the realms of social media. And don't forget to speak about social media. Don't forget to follow me on social media. All the social media links will be provided in the description bar below. And yeah, until then, this is me, Frankie Croft Smales. Thank you for watching. Stay safe. Very well. May the force be with you. And in mortal words of Stanley, Excelsior.